You might be rejecting the one Allah has written for you just because they're older than you. Let that sink in. Imagine this. Years from now, you're sitting alone, looking back at your life. You remember that one proposal, that one sister or brother who had everything: faith, character, patience, sincerity. But you said no. Why? Because of a number, age. And now, you're haunted by what ifs. What if they were the one Allah chose for me? What if I missed my test? What if that rejection was a moment I turned away from Barakatuh? This isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. Because what you're about to hear might change how you view marriage forever. Most people skip this one sunnah detail, and it could be the very key to a happy, spiritually rooted marriage, yet almost no one talks about it. Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to Voice of Sunnah, where we uncover the truths of Islam that culture often hides. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button. Your support fuels us to bring you even more valuable content. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we got in store. If you're not already subscribed, now's the time. Activate the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we drop new videos packed with powerful insights on the Islamic faith. Share this with your loved ones and leave a comment below right now. Have you ever rejected someone because of age? Be honest. Your story could help someone else. We read and respond to every comment, inshallah. Stay with us, because what comes next will open your eyes to a sunnah most of us forgot, and the spiritual rewards you might be missing out on because of it. Why do we fear marrying older people? It's strange, isn't it? We claim to follow the sunnah, yet we reject people not for their lack of deen or bad character, but for being a few years older. She's 32? That's too old. He's younger than you? Astaghfirullah. People will talk. You won't be able to connect. What will society say? For many families, these are the conversations happening behind closed doors. And behind those doors, blessings are being turned away, futures are being crushed, and marriages that could have been full of sakina, mercy, and barakah never even begin. One sister shared her story with us. She was a practicing Muslimah, memorized several juz of Quran, financially stable, kind, and ready to build a home upon the deen. But every single time a younger brother approached her with serious intentions, she was rejected, not because of her character, not because of her iman, but because she was too old. She cried many nights, asking Allah, "Why am I being rejected for something I cannot control?" And yet, this is the reality for countless Muslim brothers and sisters. We fear age, but why? Do you really think the one who is a few years older than you can't love you more, support you better, or raise your children with more wisdom? Or is it just your nafs talking? Or your culture whispering doubts louder than the words of Allah? Here's what most people won't tell you. Some of the best proposals you'll ever get might come in a form you weren't expecting. Will you recognize the blessing or reject it out of pride? Many of us are walking away from exactly what we asked Allah for in dua, simply because we don't like the packaging. And then we cry when the doors of marriage feel closed. But maybe we were the ones closing them. It's time to reflect. Comment below. Have you or someone you know faced this situation? Drop your story in the comments. We're reading everyone. You never know who your words might help. Stay tuned, because next we'll uncover what Islam really says about marrying someone older. and it might surprise you what Islam actually says about age in marriage. If we truly claim to follow the Sunnah, then let us begin where all truth begins, with the greatest example for mankind. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was 25 years old when he married Khadijah. May Allah be pleased with her, a woman who was 40 years old at the time, 15 years older than him, a widowed businesswoman. And yet, this was not a marriage of convenience or compromise. It was a marriage of destiny. She was his first love. She believed in him when no one else did. She supported him with her wealth, her wisdom, and her unwavering faith. And for as long as she lived, he never married another woman. Think about that. The man chosen by Allah to carry the final revelation, the man who could have had any woman, chose her and stayed with her alone, not because of her age, but because of her heart. Yet today, in our ummah, many would have said, "That's not suitable. She's too old. What will people think?" But Allah, in His wisdom, elevated this marriage as the foundation for Islam's earliest days. From it came comfort, strength, and emotional intimacy that would carry the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, through the hardest years of his mission. In Surah Ar-Rum, verse 21, Allah says, "And among His signs is this, that He created for you spouses from among yourselves, so that you may find tranquility in them, and He placed between you love and mercy. Surely in this are signs for people who reflect." Surah Ar-Rum 21. Do you see any mention of age? What Allah highlights is tranquility, love, and mercy, not numbers. Scholars across centuries have reinforced this principle. One well-known scholar in Damascus, Sheikh Sa'id Ramadan al-Buti, married a woman older than him. When people asked him why, he responded, "Because I was looking for akhlaq, character, deen, and peace, and I found that in her." Their marriage was a source of barakah for decades. We've allowed culture to speak louder than the Quran. We've let societal norms drown out the examples of our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. A 30-year-old sister today is labeled expired by her community. A younger brother is seen as irresponsible simply because he's not older. But Allah does not look at your age, your appearance, or your resume. He looks at your heart. So the real question is this: are you choosing your spouse based on what people say, or based on what Allah values? Because when you choose with Allah in mind, the numbers become irrelevant and the barakah becomes unstoppable. Comment below. Do you think age should matter in marriage? Tell us your thoughts. We want to hear your perspective. Stay with us, because what's coming next are real stories from brothers and sisters who took the path less traveled and were rewarded with love, peace, and spiritual growth. Not all stories begin with fairy tales. Some begin with fear, doubt, and then end in peace and unimaginable barakah. Meet Brother Yusuf. At 27 years old, he received a proposal from a practicing sister who was 35. He hesitated. He had heard all the whispers before. "She's too old. You'll outgrow her. People will talk." But he did something different. He prayed istikhara, and he truly asked Allah to guide him beyond ego and into sincerity. And what came next surprised even him. From the moment they married, he said there was tranquility he'd never known before. She was emotionally mature, spiritually grounded, and their home felt like a place of rahmah, mercy. She encouraged his Quran memorization. They prayed Qiyam together, And she reminded him of Jannah when the world got heavy. And now, they've been married 5 years. And he says, if I had listened to people, I would have missed the woman who taught me how to love for the sake of Allah. But not everyone made that choice. Then there's Sister Amina. She was 33 when a kind-hearted practicing brother 5 years younger came to her with serious intentions. She felt a connection. He was responsible, mature, and eager to build a home on the Sunnah. But in the end, she said no. Not because he lacked deen, not because he lacked vision, but because she was scared of what people would say. Years later, she's still unmarried. She says, I let fear decide for me, and every time I think about it, my heart aches. Because I didn't say no to him, I said no to my own peace. Brothers and sisters, these stories are real, and they're not rare. In every city, in every masjid, someone is facing the same dilemma. Will I let culture define my future, or will I trust the path Allah might be opening for me? Because the truth is this, age is temporary, but barakah is eternal. And sometimes the door to your happiness doesn't look like what you expected. But if you slam it shut too quickly, you may never know what was behind it. But this next part will shock you. Because there's one more Sunnah example that's almost never talked about, and it flips everything we thought we knew about age in marriage. Comment below. Would you marry someone older or younger than you? Drop a yes or no in the comments and tell us why. Your story matters. Your voice might give someone else the courage to think differently. How to know if they're the right person spiritually? How do you really know if someone is meant for you? Is it how many degrees they have? How much they earn? Or is it something deeper? Today, too many are swiping left on blessings, not because of poor character or weak faith, but because of a number. One superficial detail is making people walk away from what could have been the answer to their du'as. But here's the truth. Age won't raise your children with love. Age won't remind you to pray when your soul is weak. Age won't stand beside you on the day of judgment, but taqwa will, sabr will, ikhlas will. Allah reminds us in Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 13, Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Surah Al-Hujurat 13. Not the youngest, not the most attractive, not the wealthiest, the most righteous. But what happens when the pressure gets loud? Families may push back. Society may raise its eyebrow. But don't forget, the one who wrote your story is not your culture, it's Allah. So how do you know if someone is truly from Him? You pray istikhara, not as a ritual, but as a deep, intimate conversation with your Rabb. You ask Him, Ya Allah, if this person is good for my deen, my dunya, and my akhirah, then make it easy and destined. And if not, remove them gently and keep my heart firm. And you trust. You watch how Allah opens or closes doors. You look for tranquility in your heart, and you listen, not to society's noise, but to the stillness of your soul. Rejecting someone solely because of age may seem harmless, but you could be rejecting the very soul your heart has been craving, and you may never know what you lost until it's too late. Imagine standing on the day of judgment and seeing the one Allah wrote for you, but you walked away because of what the people might say. You might miss out on your soul's companion because of one number. Don't let that be your story. Let's pause now and make this dua together. For every brother and sister still waiting, still searching, still unsure. Ya Allah, grant me a spouse who will be the coolness of my eyes, a partner in this dunya, and a companion in Jannah. Remove from my heart the fear of people's opinions and fill it with trust in your qadr. If the right one comes, help me recognize them. And if I hesitate, guide me with your light. Make my marriage a source of peace, growth, and nearness to you. Ameen. Comment Ameen if you made this dua with us. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video with them right now. It could be the sign they've been waiting for. In the final part of this journey, we're bringing it all together with one powerful reminder that might completely shift your view on marriage forever. But what if it feels weird? Let's be honest. Even if you understand the Islamic perspective, even if the person has good character and deen, there's still a small voice inside that whispers, "But isn't it weird?" That discomfort is real, but where does it come from? Not from the Quran, not from the Sunnah, but from years of cultural programming and societal conditioning that tell us older people can't relate to younger ones. Or worse, people will laugh at you. But here's the truth. Age does not define compatibility. Some people are 25 and still emotionally immature. Some are 40 and carry the wisdom and patience of a lifetime. A respected da'i once said, "In Islam, we don't marry numbers. We marry character, values, and taqwa." Let that sink in. Because when you're looking to build a marriage based on faith, compassion, and teamwork, maturity matters more than the year on their passport. Psychological and spiritual compatibility are far deeper than surface-level age gaps. It's about shared goals. It's about mutual understanding. It's about walking together toward Jannah. So if something feels weird, ask yourself, is it my nafs speaking? Or is it the fear of what others might say? Brothers and sisters, this journey is not about avoiding judgment. It's about finding peace. And peace often begins where ego ends. Comment below with the word balance if you believe that emotional maturity and deen matter more than age. Stick around, because our final section will tie all of this together with one unforgettable question that might change your perspective forever. What happens when you choose? According to Sunnah, picture this. You walk into your home after a long day, tired, drained, overwhelmed by the world, but there, waiting for you, is someone who reminds you to say, Alhamdulillah. Someone who doesn't just love you, but helps you love Allah more. That's what happens when you choose deen over dunya, when you choose character over culture, when you choose the Sunnah, even when it's unpopular. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, when a person marries, they have fulfilled half of their religion, so let them fear Allah regarding the other half. Hadith by Haki. This isn't just about marriage, it's about building a home that leads you to Jannah, a space where barakah flows, not because it's perfect, but because it's pleasing to Allah. When you follow the Sunnah, whether by marrying someone older or simply making choices rooted in faith, you're planting seeds that grow in both worlds. Peace in your home, calm in your heart, and reward in your akhirah. Because every time you reject ego, every time you silence society, every time you say yes for the sake of Allah, you are walking a path the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, paved with mercy, courage, and love. But wait, there's one last thing you need to hear. Something that might completely flip the way you see love, destiny, and marriage itself. Comment Barakah. If you want your future marriage to be built on faith, not fear, and don't go anywhere, what's coming next may be the real turning point. Could this be the spouse Allah chose for you? Maybe, just maybe, your test isn't the person, it's your pride. What if the one who brings you closest to Allah doesn't match your checklist, but perfectly fits your soul? What if the person you're hesitant about is the one Allah already wrote for you before you were even born? Rejection based on culture, fear, or ego could be standing between you and a life filled with mercy, growth, and divine love. And the scariest part, you may never know what you lost until it's gone. Don't let pride be the veil between you and your qadr. Don't let voices of the world silence the whisper of your fitra. Let's close with a dua from the heart. Ya Allah, if the person I'm meant to marry has already crossed my path, open my eyes and my heart to see them clearly. Protect me from arrogance, from fear, from ego. Let me follow the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, with full trust in your plan. Grant me a spouse who brings me closer to you and make our marriage a source of barakah, mercy, and jannah. Ameen. What if your destiny is waiting just on the other side of courage? Comment below. What do you think is the most important factor in choosing a spouse in Islam? We're reading every comment. Your voice matters. If this video touched your heart, like it. Share it with someone you care about. And subscribe to Voice of Sunnah. Then turn on the bell icon so you never miss powerful Islamic reminders like this one. Your support helps a lot to spread the message and grow this community. Barakallahu fikum.